All right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe, and right about now we want to talk about the Nyanza region, and that is the International Investment Conference that is set to take place from the 6th to 8th of this month. And joining me in studio is Rose Osoro, just right next to me. He's the chairperson, Outcomes Committee of the Nyanza International Investment Conference, as well as Ken Muhochi, who is the Vice Chair, Marketing Committee, Nyanza International Investment Conference. And this conference, President William Ruto is the chief guest. It will be held at the Siala Resort. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Karibu sana. Now, this is not the first time this conference is being held in Nyanza, if I'm not wrong. I think we had something around the same thing in around June last year. So my question will be the one held in June 2024 and the one set to be held this week, that is on Wednesday. What is the difference in focus and maybe the objectives that are between this year's and last year's conference? Ken, let's start with Ken.
Okay, thank you for having me. First of all, let me correct, this is the first time we're having the conference. We were to have this conference last year in June.
In June, okay.
However, you know very well there was a bit of a problem in June.
Maybe you can tell us what happened.
There was the Gen Z issue. And at that time, it was not found fit to bring in the international investors. So we decided to defer the conference and we postponed it to now.
Okay.
So it is now going to be happening on the dates you've mentioned. And this time now we've even made it a bigger conference.
Yeah.
So now it will be a 3-day conference. We have many more investors coming in.
Yeah.
Very many delegates coming in, and now a 3-day conference where everybody is involved. So we have the head of state coming to open the function. We have ambassadors, about 18 ambassadors who are planning to grace the event.
Yeah.
And a lot of delegates. Yes.
Thank you so much for making that clarity, because you know I remember last year you made that call and we didn't see anything out of it later on.
Yes.
But what are the primary objectives, Rose, primary goals that you are set for the 2025 conference? Are they different from the one that you wanted to do last year in June that you didn't do? So what are the goals that you have for this year?
The goals are basically the same, Anne, and nothing much has changed, only that we are now sharper in what the outcomes will look like. The main objective is to showcase what Nyanza region is to the world. We know Nyanza has been left behind for many, many reasons, and it has great potential that we can say has not been discovered yet. So the main focus for this conference is to showcase Nyanza region to the world. Come and see what Nyanza has so that you can be able to transform in terms of social development and growth generally for the communities that are in Nyanza.
So that answers why Nyanza, why now, right?
Yes.
And when you're talking about Nyanza has been left behind for a very long time, what are these gaps that you see in the Nyanza region that you see maybe have not yet been tapped into to ensure that Nyanza is portrayed? The greatness of Nyanza is portrayed outside. Yeah,
Nyanza is a region that is full of potential. Let's start with tourism.
Okay.
The tourism circuit for the Western region is an add-off. Yet it has these little gems within the region that can actually enhance local tourism and also even international tourism. So that is what we're going to unlock. Come and see what Nyanza has for the world. Nyanza is home to the blue economy, Lake Victoria, the largest freshwater lake in the world. We need to show what that lake can do to the country in terms of tourism, in terms of economic development, how we are going to harness the resources within the Nyanza region. We've got mineral resources, we've got wildlife parks all through, cut through, not forgetting the agricultural sector. Nyanza can be the fruit basket of this country, or rather is the fruit basket of this country. You can imagine regions like Kisii, where we have where people say it's God's bathroom, and there's rain throughout the year. Horticulture, aggregation centers, all the sugarcane that is eaten in this country comes from Kisii. We need to know where this sugarcane comes from. We need to be able to showcase the world that there are investment opportunities that are ripe for all investors to come in and invest, and also for the people within the region to understand that theirs is not, they've got something special that they need to offer to the world.
Yeah.
It's really an exciting moment for us as professionals as we go into this region. As professionals from the region, we have kept away. Like we once we leave, that's where we've grown up, brought up, and then you go out there, you belong to the world, not forgetting. And then we forget where we've come from. So this initiative that is spearheaded by the Nyanza professionals is something that is of its own kind. So as professionals, we are going back. We need to be partners in the development of the region, and it's really, really exciting.
Yeah. So it's like giving back to the society.
Giving back to
Charity
the society.
begins at home.
Yes, and the extent is enormous. We've received calls from professionals in diaspora telling us we have been looking for this opportunity so that you can also be part of the development back home. And we are actually looking forward. Yeah.
Great. Now, Rose here is talking about now the regions the regions and counties that we have in Nyanza, and we have Homa Bay, Kisii, Kisumu, Migori, Nyamira, and Siaya collaborating on this event. Is there a collective regional economic strategy being developed to attract now a large-scale investment as compared to or beyond individual county?
Yeah, thank you for that question. First of all, before I answer it, I'll just add to the potential she spoke about. Because once you understand the potential of the region, it completely connects with the question that now you're answering.
Oh, okay.
The region is quite a large region, a very, very viable region.
Yeah.
In terms of potential, she spoke about tourism. We have the North Mara circuit. Today, we are not even connected to that North Mara circuit.
Yeah.
We don't even have a single 5-star hotel in Nyanza. So you can imagine the potential that you have if we're today to have
We don't have a 5-star?
We don't.
I'm from Nyanza.
Yeah. So there's going to be a ring road constructed that will connect all those counties that are in the region. Okay? And part of that is to unlock all that potential that is there. That is just one in terms of tourism. If you look at something like the blue economy, which has the potential of about 1.5 trillion a year, we're importing fish from China. Why are we importing fish from China? And we have one of the largest freshwater lakes in the world. Yeah, so there's a lot of that. So to come to the question you're specifically asking about whether there's a regional focus, the answer is yes. Part of the reason why we're even having this conference is because as professionals, we thought it wise not to look at individual counties. I come from Kuria.
Yeah.
We could have decided to do something for Migori. And I think all the counties have been approaching life like that. But we believe that when you aggregate, you have a larger economic blueprint, then it makes it even more viable for an investor, because investors are interested in a catchment area. And the larger the catchment area, the better. So right now, for this particular conference, we're working very closely with the Lake Region Economic Bloc. The Lake Region Economic Bloc actually has 14 counties, not even the 6 that make it.
Yeah.
And we believe that will be the approach so that we can garner scale. And when we bring, and for example, and locate a high-end private hospital in Kisii, we would love the medical tourism to now switch from going to Eldoret and coming to Nairobi to having a situation where we can deal with our Kasha patients from Kisii, from Nyamira, or some place like that. So that is the approach that we're having.
Yeah. And when you talk about Kisumu, we are still importing fish from China. Why do you think this is the case? When we have Lake Victoria here, we see fishermen fishing from Lake Victoria every now and then. Then what is the problem? Why are we still importing fish?
You know, today we have a lot of market imperfections.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problems. We have situations that are quite challenging. If you go and talk to a lot of the women who are involved in fishing, they even lack capital.
Yeah.
They have to borrow capital every night for them to be able to go out and fish. We have limitations that are just beyond this one. And part of what we want to do is to address those gaps, have a situation where we have the participation of all the local, especially the local investors, the chamas, the local players.
Right. Just hold on to that a little bit, Ken. Now, Rus, the NIIC, that is the Nyanza International Investment Conference, brings together different stakeholders. But who exactly is the target this year? Are you focusing more on attracting local investors, the diaspora, foreign investors, or maybe just a mix of all this? And also, how are you tailoring the conference to appeal to the different groups that are available?
Yes, it's a mix. It's a pot full of all the rest. We've got the investors, we've got the entrepreneurs. It's like a marketplace, a platform where we're bringing all of them together. If you've got an idea, come and pitch it so that you can get an investor. If you're an investor and you feel like you want to an opportunity for you, come and look around for that opportunity. So in terms of program for the conference, we've divided it into many programs that are running at the same time. We've got parallel sessions. So if your interest is in blue economy, if your interest is in agriculture, you can come in. And the most exciting thing is that we've got a youth pavilion. Like, the youth have not been left behind. We didn't have this before the June meeting, but now we have like, it dawned on us that this discussion cannot go on unless the youth are present. So we've got this exciting youth pavilion for the youth. We've got a pavilion for academia, all the universities that are in the region, and those even outside the region, even those from diaspora, are also part of the conversation that we are having. We've got the Chamber of Commerce, we've got and all the investors, and then excitingly we've got the national government, the agencies and the departments all represented. We also have the county governments, this from the 6 county governments, and we are inviting even the ones from the Lake Region Economic Bloc to also join us, because in this thing we are going in together. So it's really exciting. Everybody is there. It's like a marketplace. Come in with your good, you sell it. Come in with your idea, sell it. Come in with your money, buy what you want. That is what we
are we expecting global investors? Oh
yes, we have already gotten confirmations from a lot of global investors who are coming in direct, like flying in specifically for that conference, and it's exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
You're talking about, Ken, let me just bring you in once again, and you were talking about the market being a little bit dirty at the moment. But Rose is talking about youth also, Youth Pavilion being involved in this particular conference. What is their position? What are they bringing to the table, and what are you offering them?
Okay, for the youth, there's one other important stakeholder that we are also this time focusing on, and this stakeholder is called the universities. You know, a lot of our youth, especially the ones who are innovators, we have quite a bit of them who are working through universities. So this conference will, for the first time, allow universities to come and also showcase a lot of their innovations, and we're hoping to connect these innovations to investors. Okay, so that is one entry point that we hope to have. And then the other bit that I'll also add to just the answer that Rose has also given is that we have 18 envoys already who have confirmed to participate. So they will be coming in. And we will have a very unique forum where we have connected all the major players at all levels. Because we have bilateral partners who are the envoys. We have the government of Kenya. We have the county governments. We have the Lake Region economic partners taking part. We have the universities. We have the youth coming to take part in the youth pavilion. Women will also be a big part of the player. We want to sit and see how we can address a lot of these issues that and challenges that are there. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. We're working very closely with the Law Society of Kenya. I don't know whether you know, many of our businesses are not even incorporated. They're not even registered. And there's no way you'll talk of being a serious investor if you're not at that level. So we'll even have a breakout session where this will be one of the panel discussions, and we hope the LSK to give us a way out.
Okay, so with the LSK being involved in this particular program is to ensure that most of these SMEs, if you're talking about SMEs, are registered and to secure their investments. Is that what you mean?
Secure their full participation.
Okay.
In economics, in trade. Yes.
All right.
Actually, all the professional bodies are involved in this, because this is professional-driven investment conference. So we've got the Institute of Engineers being involved. We've got Kenya National Union of Teachers involved. We've got the academicians who are the lecturers. We've got Institute of Certified Public Accountants. All of them are in the house. Like, we need to be there. We need to be present. If you are coming from the region, please come in and see how you can pull this and ensure the transformation happens. Yeah.
Such a full house.
Yeah, it is full house. It is full house.
Now, we were talking about the global economic influence. Are we expecting to see people from the US?
Oh, yes. First of all, the most exciting people are coming from the US are our own professionals who have decided we are going to be part of this committee. And they belong to, we've got a whole diaspora committee that deals with this thing, with the conference. So you've got, first of all, there's the diaspora pavilion that is present and will be channeling all the programs to even those who are not present physically. And we also have people coming in, professionals, exciting Kenyans who are coming in to be part of this conference. And of course, they're coming in with investors as well during that process. So it is.
And you know, I'm asking about the US, and that brings me to this. You already know, you know. And there is an evolving trade dynamics that maybe is expected to impact the foreign direct investment. And of course, also maybe international investor confidence in regions like Nyanza could be a little bit shaken. And we're talking about policy shifts under President Trump's administration that include changes in trade agreements, tariffs on imports from key global markets like Canada, Mexico, and China. So you can see that the foreign direct investments is a little bit shaken. So how do you anticipate that these evolving trade dynamics will impact the FDI?
We are not expecting such great impact, first of all, for the reason that the people we're involved with are our brothers and sisters, and for sure they're not illegal immigrants. They're professionals working in the US space. And because of the dynamics that are changing, we are freed to go with what is present. So far, none has cancelled. So the program is going on as planned. So we don't know about tomorrow. But for now, no one has cancelled. They are all coming. I even was in a conversation yesterday with a committee chairman who is saying he's now wrapping up. He's on his way home. So we haven't felt that impact yet. But I believe as we move forward, probably there could be reduced investment, foreign direct investment from the region. But we are here. We are set to navigate through.
So far, so good. We're living in the moment. Now, Ken, considering the US has been a key economic partner in Africa, do you foresee any shifts in investment priorities?
Okay, not in the immediate term. You see, one of the biggest vehicle that right now we're accessing the US export market is through AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act. Now, AGOA's conference was actually approved by the US Congress. So right now, as it is, there's very little Trump can do around anything that was approved by Congress. Okay. So he has time, of course. He has 4 years as a president. So if he wants to unwind it, he may. But that market access program is still there. Our region has about 26 value crops, which we are right now doing the county aggregations and that sort of thing to hopefully access the export market. If you were to look at stats, you'll be surprised that Nyanza has almost 0.00 something percent of that vehicle of AGOA. And part of the reason why we're doing this conference is to create that as an opportunity. So we don't anticipate any major change in that. Now, at the individual level, you may be familiar today. Look at the investment in Kisii, for example. They are largely driven by individual actions of our diaspora. These people believe in our economy, believe in our home. They vote with their money. We don't expect that to change. So as it is in terms of Nyanza and the outlook, our outlook is positive. Nothing substantially has changed. We are hopefully, in fact, looking to export more of our people into the US. Trump has been quite vocal to say he's not fighting the importation of high-end talent. And we do have that.
And remember this, we are talking about the Nyanza region to be specific. And last year's meeting, you already say that conference didn't happen. But I remember in that meeting, priorities were in agriculture, food security, tourism, infrastructure, and the blue economy. Has this focus evolved this year? I mean, are there new sectors being prioritized, or the emphasis is on deepening these investments focus that were there last year?
Nothing has changed. For the simple reason that for us to come up with those sectors that we chose, it wasn't. It was through deep consultation.
Yeah.
We've gone through all the development programs for government, both national and county government. We went through the CIDs, so we actually understand what moves the region. So for that to change, it will take, nothing has shifted. We may deepen the focus because we are now more focused, but the thing is we are still in the same regions, that the sectors that we are in, because that is what speaks to the region. We cannot walk around it. The CIDPs, if you go to the CIDPs of the region of the various counties involved, that is what they are talking about. Those are the programs. Even the projects that we have picked out for this conference, the ones that we are pitching out are projects that have been identified years on end in terms of development. So we are saying, here they are. It's not that they are not there. Here they are, well developed, with all the participation, local participation, intellectual participation, and professional input, all has been put in to kind of bring out these projects that are there for implementation. So nothing really has changed, but it's like we are deepening now the understanding. And this is the start of many more interactions. And I believe as we move forward, we're going to see more results. Yeah.
Now, Ken, I would love you to also jump in on that. And when you're talking about deepening these sectors that are already existing, I understand that the Nyanza region, the blue economy does so well. I don't know about agriculture, trade, but if you're talking about deepening these sectors that are already existing, what is that one particular sector that, as a team, in the Nyanza International Investment Conference, the organizers there, that are looking to strengthen so much in the Nyanza region?
You see, all those verticals you've mentioned are verticals that require a lot of work. So our focus has not changed from last year.
Okay.
Yeah, we are looking to basically consolidate and deepen all those and really handle a lot of the issues that limit our potential and participation in those areas. Yeah.
All right. I want us to talk about SME.
Yes.
How will this conference not just cater to a larger investor, but also benefit all these SMEs? Okay.
Okay. We're looking, number one, we are working very closely with the county governments, the Lake Region Economic Bloc, on all these quests around aggregation. Because today, if you want to offer proper market access, aggregation has to come in. All these counties, Homa Bay held a very successful investment conference. They are also working on an aggregation center. And we're looking to tap into that. That, we believe, is one of the keys that could greatly support our SMEs that are in the region.
And you've talked about this Homa Bay holding a different international investment conference. And looking at similar international investment conference in the country, we've seen Nairobi hosted one, Mombasa hosted another one, which was very, very successful. Is Nyanza borrowing anything from these two counties that have held such a conference and has succeeded? Rose?
Yes, we have. We are glad that we are part of the Homa Bay County and the success that came out of the conference. We had a session with the organizers, and they told us exciting stories that out of the Homa Bay conference, many deals have been signed. We need to have many of this. It looks like we have not been showcasing what we have good enough. So it doesn't matter the number if we'll showcase until people get to know what Nyanza stands for. So it's not a bad thing that we cannot say that there are too many. They're actually, we need many more than we already have, because the Homa Bay Investment Conference was a huge success. There are benefits out of it. There are deals that have been signed. Projects have started. And we are looking forward for the same for the Nyanza International Investment Conference. And we are actually, on top of that, we are moving to CIR in March. So it is not, we need to saturate this market. Let people understand what is it that we have to offer. And we are not shy, shouting from the rooftops if that is what it calls for.
Interesting. The theme this year is Nyanza rising towards economic transformation for socio-economic development and growth. Now, how will this theme be reflected in the conference discussions? Ken?
Okay, everything that we're doing is about that theme. Everything we're doing is about showcasing Nyanza, creating awareness, having the local people participate, okay, having all the stakeholders be part of opening Nyanza for business. You see, Nyanza has not been known very positively. We've not been known for a place that is open for business. We want to change that, okay? And towards that quest, of course, that theme will be realized.
Okay.
The program is out, actually. And it is, I think we need, I'm looking for it so that I can share a bit of what our program looks like.
Okay.
The program is there. The program is for the 3 days. We have huge, we have a conversation. The first thing, as tomorrow we have the opening session, of course, investing in the blue economy.
Tomorrow, that is the 4th.
The 6th.
The 6th. Okay.
Investing in the blue economy.
That's day one of the.
And we've got, and we've got experts talking about that. Later we have agriculture, food security, nutrition and health coming thereafter. And then we have technologies and innovation and as an enabler of economic development. And this is where we have harnessing technology for investment in the region. So it's a full, and that is the end of the day. We are talking about education. When we had a session with the vice chancellors from the universities that are within the region, they actually told us something that is very shocking, that of all the universities, there's no engineering course in any of the universities in the region. So all the engineers we have in this country have not been trained in the region. So the thinking is, how can we ensure the universities that are there kind of specialize in courses that are relevant to the community. And it's a conversation that has started, and I'm excited to see what happens after this conference. So we have all that. So the program is actually full, and just come in and sit and listen and be part of the conversation.
Interesting to hear that education is also a matter of greater interest for this conference. Now, you see, when we talk about past conferences, they often result in very key agreements, and we're talking about MOUs, policy recommendations, and just looking at these years, NIIC, I'm trying to get that right, what tangible partnerships or commitments are being pursued?
First is to bring in the county governments.
Okay.
The county governments have their projects that they want to showcase, and they'll be present. And they are aiming at projects that are cross-cutting in terms of not one county, like many counties. We are talking like there's this water project called Mawawa Water Project. And I'm a professional, and I know that that project exists. That is supposed to benefit the entire lake region. The Mawawa is on the highland, so the dam itself will be serving people downstream nearer the lake. So those are the projects that we are actually putting. And we are looking for these investors. Please come in. We've actually identified, even tomorrow we have a meeting with the National Treasury, kind of fine-tune further this project, so that as we are entering into the conference, we've got like 4 or 5 projects that we want for deals to be signed immediately, because they are projects that are ready. They are ready for implementation. All the feasibility studies have done. All the costs have been put on paper. The only thing we lack is the aspect of the investor to put in their funds, and the project kicks off. Yeah.
All right. Ken, when you're talking about the tangible partnerships and commitments being pursued for this year's NIIC, how do you foresee this translating into real economic impact for the Nyanza region in the long term? And when talking about the long term, it could be 5 years, 10 years. You tell me.
Okay, first things first is, as she's mentioned, the counties will be present. They have the projects. What has always been missing has been that link between opportunities and investment. We're having 18 bilateral partners taking part, donors themselves. They have been helping mobilize investors who will be coming to attend. And really, we want to bridge that knowledge gap. We are hoping at the end of this forum to have bankable deals signed, and bankable deals will be signed. And more important, to transition into results, which is now what what you're looking for in the long term or short term, we are going to be having a secretariat that will carry forward. And this secretariat will be working very closely with the Lake Region Economic Bloc. We'll be working very close to now make sure that this is not just a talk shop.
Yeah.
We want a situation where whatever is handled, whatever is signed, is actually transitioned into results that will benefit the people downstream.
Yeah, actually to add on that, this conference has the outcomes committee, which I chair.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm looking at is what are we going to get out of this? So be sure nothing is going through the cracks. We will be there. We will be watching every moment. Our ears will be on the ground to ensure that we are able to hear every sound that is there. An investor, an entrepreneur, all those. We ensure at the end of the conference we have a basket of activities, deals already signed, and or MOU partnerships that are going on during that region. So the outcomes committee basically is to babysit and ensure that the outcomes are there, and they are there the day after the conference. It won't be conference and leave. It will be conference and what comes thereafter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Rose, being that you are the chair of the Outcomes Committee at the NIIC, and, you know, we've talked about conferences always generating important discussions, but the real challenge is always turning these conversations into actionable change, right? Now, for this particular conference, how are you planning on ensuring that the arguments made for this particular conference are not just left in this conference, but are carried out and are actually brought into meaningful change and impact?
We are going to ensure that, first of all, by ensuring that we know where the noise is from.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes there are discussions that die on the floor. We're not going to allow any discussion to die. We'll be able to keep to pick up any strings that is untied, tie the strings that we need to tie during that period. So we have a legal committee that is, and I've said we are liaising with the LSK to ensure that every deal that requires to be signed is signed on that day. So we are not. We are not saying that this must be signed. Our conversation is we have come together, we have interacted. What is who do you intend to see first? And we are there as professionals because we are going nowhere. We are there. We are there to ensure that the following day, that is on 9th of February, conversations from the conference still continue happening until when we'll have our next conference to showcase exactly what happened between that period. We know deals cannot be signed on one day. It's a conversation. The thing is, we're going to take care of those conversations until fruition. Yeah.
So will there be a public accessible report or maybe an investor tracker?
Yes. We are thinking about that.
Yes. And of course, this is to ensure that citizens and potential investors are able to monitor the commitments made as well as their status. So, Ken, how does the Nyanza region position itself competitively as compared to other regions in the country and even the East Africa region in a broader length? And we're talking about, this is in terms of investor attractiveness. How does the Nyanza region compare?
Okay, the Nyanza region has not been very competitive in terms of positioning, and this is part of what we want to change. There has been a lot of lack of market knowledge, which is one of the things we want to address. We want to provide scale by having a larger market, and that's why we're bringing the region together. And this hopefully will result in a situation where the area is attractive for investors. We'll be shortly working with counties to help remove a lot of the barriers that are there for people who want to come and trade and invest in this area. And this will be part of some of the medium-term interventions that we are hoping to do to keep this area and make it as attractive as, say, Nairobi or as the other regions in Kenya.
To add to that, Nyanza, you've got to look at the map and see the position of Nyanza itself. Nyanza borders Uganda, the largest pit in terms of boundary. It touches Tanzania. And we are looking at Tanzania, and we are looking at Tanzania and South Africa, because Tanzania is the link to South Africa. We are talking about Uganda, we are talking about Rwanda, we are talking about Burundi, and then the Congo region. So it's actually the gateway to Kenya. And then the lake itself, the lake, the blue economy within the lake itself, and the linkages to the different countries. It is a very potential area that has not been exploited enough, because we are talking about pipelines anchoring in Kisumu as they exit in the region, railways in Kisumu as they anchor into the region, because we have not exploited the aspect that Nyanza region actually is, unlike some other regions, actually has international boundaries. We are taking care of Kenya from that side. So it's exciting to showcase what Kenyan is to the world, because from Nyanza, you can actually go anywhere in the region. You can go to Tanzania. The largest boundary between Kenya and Tanzania is in Nyanza. You can go to Uganda. You can cross over to Rwanda, and then Congo is just next door. So the positioning itself puts Nyanza in a very advantageous position compared to other regions in the region, in the place. And also the Lake region economic bloc is one of the most active in all the blocks within the region. And sometimes they say there are 14 counties, but the most critical, the ones who won't go anywhere, are the 6 counties that must make sure the Lake region works. So this is the Nyanza region we are bringing to the world. I know I took a friend the other day to Nyamira, and it's like, I thought Nyamira was Kisii. I said, which part of and that is a full-grown Kenyan who doesn't know there is a difference between Kisii and Nyamira, for instance. So that is what we want to show to the world, that this is a Western Bloc. The Nyanza region has more to offer to this country and even to the regional economy.
And if our positioning as a region, okay, I'm now talking from like someone.
You're already, why you haven't you registered, by the way?
We are registering after this. And you'll tell us how to register and where to register, of course, well, we will be concluding the conversation. But if you're talking about the Nyanza region being advantageously positioned for other countries or that we are bordering, right? And Kenya is saying that we are not so much competitive. We don't have so much to show. Our marketing is bad. What is the problem? Who is supposed to ensure that as Nyanza is positioned perfectly for investment opportunities?
The professionals. Where have you been all this time? Go out there and shout. The region has something to offer to the world. And we're here to say, here is the region and this is what it needs to offer. I don't want to put the issue of marketing to the farmer who is struggling every other time to produce their crop. They are looking for market. Surely, they could be looking for market and then ask what is it that we're doing to them. We need to put our fingerprints into this entire process, because the farmers are working hard enough. The fishermen, imagine the fisherman fishes the entire night and you're trying to tell them to market it to the world. How are they going to do that? So I think it's a collaborative effort. Everybody needs to get involved in this process so that we can be able to market the region adequately to the world, to help our farmers, to help our mothers who are laboring, and to ensure that economically Nyanza stands the position it ought to stand in the Kenyan economy and the region as well.
I would agree that Nyanza indeed has a lot to offer. We have the Dunga Beach, which is not talked much about. And there is Takawiri Island. People don't know about it. It's in Homa Bay. And you see, when we talk about such recreational areas, we often just think about the coast region. And that brings me again to this question, Ken. Nyanza has great potential. Like I've mentioned, we have Dunga, we have Takawiri, and maybe there's more that I haven't mentioned. You talk much about private investor, the private sector associations and corporations that will be key participants for this particular conference. So what sectors are they looking to invest in? And I'm hoping that you could mention something about Takawiri and Dunga Beach. They're doing poorly.
You know, like I mentioned earlier about our tourism challenge, we have so much to offer. But today when you look at Nyanza, we are not even connected to the tourism circuits. In the future, we anticipate a future where you can fly into the Mara, Tanzania, do whatever you're doing, and also come and see what we have to offer in Nyanza. But for us to get into that future, we will need a 5-star hotel somewhere in Nyanza. So that is a very low-lying fruit that we're anticipating to realize in the next 5 years. Because that in itself, you can imagine what it would do. We need to create a proper tourism industry in Nyanza, and that will connect all those countries. We're hopeful during this conference there will be pronouncements made by the government around infrastructure investments. We are quite keen to see a circuit road built, because this circuit road, when you are an investor, you would love a situation where in your facility you can very easily bring people into that facility. We today have challenges around infrastructure. So of course the government is coming in to address part of that. That is just one of the very, very, very many potentials that we have. To directly answer your questions around the participation of the private sector groups, all these private sector groups are interested in making money, and we are looking at about 20 to 25 sectors that, you know, from food processing to having even a pharmaceutical company come up to manufacture drugs. So the conference has a wide array of opportunities, and for the first time you're having a situation where we are truly tapping and showing people the potential that is there in Nyanza.
Could you give us insights now into Nyanza's current market size and GDP, Ken?
Okay, I don't have the numbers top of mind.
Okay.
What I would basically say is that if you look at something like, for example, the blue economy, it has the potential of 1.5 trillion. Okay. If you're to ask what it is that we are realizing today, it is not even 10% of that. Yeah. So a lot of it, we are not going to really focus on where we are so much, but the potential that is, and it is huge. It's been mapped.
And you know, I was asking that question because, you know, when investors consider to entering a new market, you see key factors such as market size, consumer purchasing power, and GDP play a very critical role in this. And I want us to...
Could I say that the region population was at 22 million people. So even the markets that we're looking for, before we even start thinking about markets outside the region, we need to satisfy the needs of the 22 million people. The problem we have is every other region produces the same thing. So if we go into specialization and we know this is the niche for each sub-region within the region, then we are able to even sell to ourselves. Like the Lake Region Economic Bloc are thinking about counties and specialization. I know like Kisii County, they are more into medical. They want to be the medical region for medical tourism for the region. So every investment on medical is being pushed to the Kisii region. We know Siaya is into technology and the technology app. So any investor who comes in, it's better they specialize on those areas so that we create a market amongst ourselves first of all, before we can even think of a market outside. So the population is present. It's only that we tend to produce the same thing, all of us, then we have no market. And then we have people driving from all over, even out of the country, to come in and pick our produce to where the markets are.
Ross, this one is still for you. Now, of course, as we wind up, how do you intend to ensure that the investments made in Nyanza do not just benefit, or rather just also benefit local communities, rather than the external investors only, and leaving these local investors or residents of the Nyanza region that just being spectators of what is happening in the Nyanza region?
Let me start that every huge project has a local component, whether you like it or not. Talk about the expressway in Nairobi. Who are the greatest beneficiaries? Think about it. It's the people from Kitengela. The road is there for all of us. We're enjoying it. It's our road as a country. But where has it touched most? The residents of the eastern part of Nairobi. If you go to like the projects that you're thinking about, the road ring project that is supposed to be, I hear there is even an investor, a road along the Lake region. Who is the beneficiary at the end of the day? The local people. So every project, however big, however small, the people who gain are actually the local people. They derive active benefits out of this project. So it's not lost. If it's a dam that is going to be built, who is going to work around the dam? the community that are around the dam. So as much as we have this huge project that we are proposing that will mean economic transformation for the region, we are thinking that the beneficiaries are the local people at the end of the day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, just to hold you accountable, you've mentioned that there will be a public accessible report as well as an investment tracker to allow the citizens or the people of Nyanza, to be specific now that we're talking about Nyanza, to be able to monitor and check on the status of the investments made. Final remarks, Ken, of course, as we close.
Final remarks is this will be about the people. This will be about transforming Nyanza, bringing Nyanza to the international market. And just to add to the last point that was said, anytime you create a factory, it will benefit about 2,000 people. It will create direct employment. The multiplier effects are large. That is what we want to do for Nyanza. So one of the things that we would love people to come register, to come take part, to participate in the conference, to come and help give solutions to the challenges that we have.
Ross, your final remarks, of course, as you tell us now where to register, because you had mentioned something about registration.
Final remarks is tailored to professionals within the region. Please don't hold back. Come in and let's return to the community. The community has done their bit to produce us as the professionals who are spread across this country, even in the world. Please come home and just do something about this. If you see an investor, bring the investor home. That is my request to professionals within the region, and also register and be part of this conversation. How do you register? We've got a website. The website is Nyanza International Investment Conference. If you go there, you'll actually be able to register online. The register is there. It will guide you. It's a simple process in terms of registration. Go to the website and you'll be able to pass barcode scanner, go in and register and be part of this exciting moment. For the
All right.
region.
Thank you so much. That is Rose Osoro, Chairperson, Outcomes Committee of the Nyanza International Investment Conference, and Ken Muhochi, the Vice Chair, Marketing Committee of the Nyanza International Investment Conference. We are talking about unlocking Nyanza's economic potential, investment opportunities for global growth. Of course, this is ahead of the Nyanza International Investment Conference that is set to take place from the 6th to 8th of this month, February, and President William Ruto is the chief guest. That brings us to the end of this conversation and to the end of Morning Cafe. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Anne Odid, and Fred and I will see you bright and early tomorrow. Good morning and enjoy the rest of your day.